Collective. Sorry, these lights are so bright. Just got into my new spot for the next couple of weeks, and I wanted to jump on because I've been away for 10 days and it's been a while since we've done a reading, and I realized that the camera is too far away from you guys to really see the cards. I am working on your new moon astrology update, and that will be out probably within the next 36 hours, but I wanted to jump on and just do a bit of a reading because we have not done anything since the full moon. So I've already pre-pulled a couple of cards. I haven't really looked at them, but now I'm sort of seeing what they are. So let's start with our, what are we starting with? We're starting with the Wild Unknown. So we have the Faultline. I hope you can see. I'm trying to, that's probably the best way for me to show the cards. Okay, so the Faultline. The Faultline, well, a Faultline is where we've got a weak link. The Faultline is where things have sort of dried and cracked up. You can sort of see here that this is like a fault line in the sand. So the fault line is where things crack and crumble, and that is our overarching general energy. That's all I'll really say right now. I've got a couple of more things to say, but let's take a look at what some of the other cards have to say, and just get an idea of where we are. So what we're working through right now is the fault line, and so I pulled a couple of cards from the In-Between Tarot, which we've used before, and we have the Tower upright. So this is the Tower to the Star. We have the Sun in reverse. That is the Sun to Judgment in reverse. And we have the Five of Coins to the Six of Coins, also in reverse. So let's start off here with the Tower. I mean, we've got the fault line and we've got the Tower, so there's already a bit of resonance here. We've got Aquarius energy here in this card. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do some side snippets. No, I'm probably not going to do that because I don't have enough time. So if we want to see the cards in more detail, you're just going to have to Google them online. So the Tower is obviously about, it's the Tower of Babel. It's what's on unsturdy ground must collapse. And the Star is the healing energy. So right now we're sort of in a spot where things are, with the fault line obviously crumbling, and we're moving into that healing energy and the promise of hope that's offered by the Star. Now, what's interesting is when I pulled these cards, I didn't realize that two came out. By the way, all of these came face up, so this is very open, honest, forward energy. With the Sun in reverse, the Sun is everything that we want, and Judgment is heading towards reconciliation. So with the sun in reverse here, it says that we haven't actually gained the ease and the freedom that we need yet. So, you know, with the tower card here, we're heading from the tower to the star. And so, yeah, we're not really ready for any sort of new movement. Judgment is about, you know, a lot of times it's about doing things again. It's about having learned and integrated the lessons of the past. So in the traditional Rider-Waite Judgment card, there's the people rising from the grave, and it's sort of symbolic of having integrated the lessons of their life and now being ready to rise again, to rise into wholeness, to rejoin unity or Christ consciousness. The Sun card is about freedom, but it's also about ease. It's about, you know, you've got the baby that is riding a horse, and horse riding isn't the easiest thing, and he's just sort of sitting on the back of the horse on this wild ride. With little cares and little efforts. So the sun is about embracing all of the things that are easy and that bring us light and joy and that childlike energy. The next card that we have is the 5 of Coins in reverse to the 6 of Coins. So this card here, there's a couple of ladies on it, and it says the Women's Refuge on it. And there's a couple of women who are very well dressed, and they are, and one lady's standing in the door with a pie, and there they are, sort of ready and willing to offer help and support to other women. So with this card in reverse, it says that we aren't yet ready to go out and give onto the world because we're still taking care of our own internal processes. To move, the 5 of Coins card is the card of lack, and it asks us not to call attention to our weaknesses, but in order to move past the energy of the 5 of Coins, we have to understand what our weaknesses are and integrate the lessons to allow us to move into a place of greater balance. And the 6 of Coins is all about being ready and willing to share and to open up. So now let's take a look and see what it is that the collective can do to, well, first of all, let's take a look at the Faultline here. And I'm actually feeling called to use the Rider-Waite. So let's get, we're just going to pull I'm going to pull the beginnings of a typical Celtic cross, and we'll take a look at what we can tell about this fault line. So what I want to know is what is the fault line about, and how can we prepare ourselves for what's coming next? Okay, we've got a couple of cards coming out here. can we prepare ourselves for what's coming next? Okay, I'm feeling like we need to actually just have a look here at what we've got before we move forward too much. So the overarching energy here is the Empress, which is lovely for this channel. So the Empress is the embodiment of all four queens. She's balanced within herself because she's balanced the elements, and she knows how to use the light and integrate the shadow of all four queens. The card here that's crossing is the Four of Swords. So this tells me that, you know, more rest and recuperation is required, and that is something that we were getting based off of the in-between tarot here, that we're not yet at a place where we're ready to push forward and to share with the world. We're more so in a spot where we need some time to contemplate where we're at and continue integrating those lessons. So what we have here at the foundation is the Strength card. The Strength card is about taming our impulses. It's about not allowing ourselves to act out of in a negative way from our lower energy centers. So, you know, with the root chakra, we can become fearful. We can lack foundation and stability. With the second chakra, or our creative center, we can become hypersexualized or refuse to acknowledge attraction and sexuality. And with our solar plexus chakra, we can lack motivation or be motivated in the wrong directions. So those are the things that we're currently working on. In the past, we have the Ace of Wands in reverse and the Two of Wands in reverse. So the Ace of Wands is the card of a very passionate opportunity, and the Two of Wands is a card of looking out into the future and deciding what your next moves are going to be. So with these two in reverse, this tells me that either we've been in a place where we are lacking any passion towards a direction, or in the past we were lacking a passion towards a new direction, or that we had a misplaced passion that had led us in the wrong direction. And now I'm feeling guided to switch up the decks here. I want to know, with regards to the fault line, what is the highest that we can achieve in this situation? Where are we going, and what is the sort of short-term highest timeline potential for us? You guys can see potentially what was on the bottom there. I could not. Wow. Okay, so we've got the Chariot in reverse. So the Chariot is about setting ourselves apart, and when the Chariot is embraced in a negative fashion, it is the show-off card. It is the look at me, pick me, aren't I the best, I need to be crowned sort of card. So the best that we can do in this situation right now, it's saying the short-term highest potential for us is to not be gloating about where we are, not be, I guess, showing off our achievements. If the intention is just to show off and get attention. So if you're working on anything new, I've got a couple new projects that I'm working on. It's saying at this time that those things are better left unsaid. We're better off not telling anybody and not talking about what it is that we're currently working on. Because sometimes, you know, when we embark on new endeavors, sometimes things turn out and sometimes they don't. And what I've found over the last 2 years is that it's been really beneficial for me to call my energy back towards myself and I'm doing the things that I want to do because I want to do them, but you know, sometimes we want to share that with other people, but we can end up oversharing out of a need to connect. So I'm just really feeling here that right now, oversharing on our goals, what we're working on, is our highest. It's our highest ideal and our highest foundation. And I don't know why I'm just feeling called to go back to the Raider Wave. Let's take it. It's tried to flip-flop out here. So in the future, what we have is the Ace of Pentacles, and it did come out in reverse. So yeah, this sort of confirms what I was thinking when we were talking about the Chariot here in reverse. I think that if we overshare on where we're headed and what our little short-term projects are, we're going to end up in a place where we may lose the opportunities that we have. So I am feeling really strongly that we need to keep our movements a bit hidden and a bit secret at this time. Now I want to go back to this 5 of coins here, 5 of coins to the 6 of coins, because I was feeling a bit more off of this card as I pulled this Ace of Pentacles. So with this hermitage here that the women have built, they've built this because they have more than enough and they've got something to give and to share. Yeah, I just don't want you guys to be over-giving right now. You know, if you're saving money for a new business or you've got a little endeavor up your sleeves, I think it's best at this time to wait wait until you have enough to share with others. And okay, I don't have much else to say about this. Actually, I want to pull another card with this Ace of Pentacles just to get a little bit more information here, just to see if I can help you, because the Ace of Pentacles in reverse is just a lack of opportunity and a lack of an ability to ground things in. And so we already talked about with the Chariot in reverse that we really need to check our energy. The Chariot is the card of, setting yourself apart. So we're at this phase right now where we're in between setting ourselves apart and still coming through this dark night of the soul with the Four of Swords. So the dark night of the soul says that we need to get grounded. This man is laying in a sarcophagus, and the sarcophagus was a place where knights would go in order to have an awakening and enlightening experience about how they were to serve. And so it says to me right now that in order for us to regain our passion and push out in a new direction that's going to lead in a positive direction with the Ace of Pentacles, that we need to still take a bit of time to find out what exactly it is that we want to be manifesting. Okay, we've got a couple of cards here. These turned over very, very slowly, very peacefully. Okay, so we've got the Nine of Cups to the Ten of Cups. This is the card right here. The Nine of Cups is wish fulfillment and everything that you could want. And the Ten of Cups is, so the Nine of Cups is wish fulfillment, and it can be a little bit about overindulgence. The Ten of Cups is a card of absolute happiness and contentment and essentially having everything that the heart desires. In this card, the lady is moving towards the village, towards these other people. So it tells me that, she's got a little bag here, and I don't know whether it's clams or sort of looks like clams or some sort of food that she's coming back to share. So she has been out in nature gathering resources for herself, and the hands and the arms of these people, they look so excited to see her. Their arms are stretched out welcoming her. However, they wouldn't be that welcoming of her if she was coming back empty-handed. So I think right now this is a time of gathering our resources, gathering the mental rest that we need to create that passion that we can then bring forward and share. The other card that we have here is the Five of Wands to the Six of Wands. The Five of Wands is this is an interesting card, and I'm not entirely sure what is happening on this card. It's a bit strange, but I'm gonna describe it for you. So in the foreground, we've got a man and a woman. The woman has the I forget what it's called. It's called the laurette. She's wearing the leaves, just like the man is wearing in the chariot card. She's standing back to back with a man, and his head is bowed down as he's about to receive his. I'll have to check and see whether that's called a laurette. So to be given one of these head wreaths was an honor back in the day, right? If you rode the chariot and you won the race, then you would be given one of these headdresses. The Five of Wands is about conflict, and the Six of Wands is about pride, and it's about winning, but it's about celebration. But in the negative, it can be about sort of gaining too much pride. And in the background, we've got all of these hooded figures with red eyes glowing. And, you know, I'm really getting a bit, again, more resonance for the same message that I've been channeling, which is just that if we're gloating and if we're on our high horse, like the Six of Wands, bragging about our accomplishments, we've got all of these dark figures and dark energies, you know, with red eyes and jealousy in the background that are gonna want to knock us off our block, knock us off our square, take us down a peg. In Australia, we've got this idea of, you know, no tall poppies, right? So everybody has to be at the same level. Everybody has to have the same sort of success. And if you get too cocky or you get too flashy, people will try to knock you down a peg, because it's just a bit of the culture here where they don't like gloaters, and you're expected to sort of not show off and be quiet about your successes. And I'm not saying that that is the way to go, but there's a time and a place for everything. And when we haven't yet stabilized ourselves, because all we have here is the opportunity for stability and the opportunity for some big pentacle to come in. So I'm getting the exact same message here, which is that, you know, we don't want these prying eyes upon us looking to take us down a peg. So spend some time in rest. Continue working through with the star. You know what you're reaching towards. You know what it is that you're trying to achieve. We're getting close to integrating things with the sun and the judgment here. We're getting ready to ride our horse without much effort, and to have enough that we're able to give and share, but we're not quite there yet. Okay, I'm gonna leave the reading at that, but just before I do, I drew two, I don't even know what these are called. They're getting into the vortex cards. And the first one that I drew says, my life is about my relationships. You will never find yourself in a point in time when the subject of relationships is not an active part of your now experience. For everything you perceive or notice or know is because of your relationship with something else. Without a comparative experience, you would be unable to perceive or focus any kind of understanding within yourself. Therefore, it is accurate to say that without relationships that you could not exist at all. The relationship card is the number 1 card, so I ended up pulling the number 1 and the number 2 cards from this deck. In order to, and this is very, very much true, right? We are not solipsistic. We don't exist in a vacuum. But with the fault line coming up here, I think it's really important for us to look at those relationships and make sure that we are driving and steering them in a way that's authentic and in a way that honors our true foundational nature. And because we have the Empress here at the center, it tells me that we're showing up in this abundant energy. The Chariot card also says dimensional shifts of the crystalline. I'm going to just take a quick look through the guidebook. I was actually really quite surprised to see this card, My Life is About My Relationships, because I have been connecting with friends, but I have been spending a lot of time, like I said, I just did nearly a week's vacation, and I would have spent about 70% of that time, 60% of that time by myself. And while I was connecting with other people, it wasn't the center of what I was focused on. So I feel like there's going to be something in the guidebook that's going to help us connect the Chariot to this idea of our relationships being so pivotal in our existence. So let me see if I can find... It says the Chariot symbolizes willpower and discipline, moving forward with strength and commitment to achieve what you have set out to do. The crystalline energy of this card wants you to stay focused. With this focus comes an inner confidence that will guide you through challenges, assist you in remaining assertive, and help you be clear about your boundaries. Okay. There's a call to be courageous, to see this endeavor as a test of your strength and not cut corners. Okay. So here we go. Boundaries, and that makes sense now. Going inwards with this Knight here is about withdrawing from the opinions of other people and the opinions, the desires, what everybody else thinks about your life. So going inwards is in order to be self-driven and self-propelled, to be the Empress. So we can only manifest what is true for us. We need to have resonance of heart and head, and we can only do that when we're being authentic with who we are and what it is that we actually resonate with. And so when we externalize, then we're doing things for other people. We're doing things for recognition from other people. So in order for us to find our pentacles and to move forward, we need to make sure that we're doing things that are in resonance with our own energy and our own divine will. I shouldn't say our own divine will, because the divine will isn't our own. It's the will of the divine manifesting through us, and we find that by following our highest excitement and being true to ourselves. The second card that I pulled is that which is like onto itself is drawn, which is a bit of a mouthful, but essentially it means like attracts like. Everything you perceive is vibration, and the life you are living is your vibrational interpretation. The powerful law of attraction is at the root of everything you experience, and the never-changing, always accurate promise of the law is that which is like onto itself is drawn. There is more here, but I just want to pause, because when we do things for other people, or for recognition, or for kudos, or for glamour, or for clout, or to be seen, we are not vibrating, well, we're projecting our innate inbuilt needs outside of ourselves. So what we're going to draw to ourselves is something that is not really going to manifest not really going to be what we need, because we haven't been authentic about what it is that we need. And so if we do things out of a desire to be seen, or a desire for recognition, we might very well be recognized for those things, but it's not the things that are actually going to fulfill us. When you give a thought to something, you begin the attraction process of the essence of that subject into your life experience. Once you have activated a thought vibration within yourself by giving attention to the subject, the progression of expansion occurs. So we want to make sure that what we're expanding in our life is the things that are actually going to fulfill us. Now, yeah, I just sort of see in this card here with this, my life is about my relationships. Like, it just seems like a lot of sort of gossip. Like, there's a lot of heads here and talking hands, and so my recommendation to the collective right now is to realize that we're still in the process of managing this fault line, and we need to allow things to, we need to expose the faults and the cracks and to acknowledge what they are. And I suppose a lot of this sort of resonates with me because I started recording this message, you know, I did 5 minutes of this recording prior to this one that you're going to see, and I was talking a little bit about these endeavors that I'm working on. And what's interesting is that I didn't do that in the second message, like when I started the camera the second time. And that was just an intuitive move for me, right? I didn't like the way that the camera was set up. I don't think you could see my head. And I was probably oversharing. And so I'm really glad that this sort of came up, and it did give me food for thought about just pulling back and holding on to some of those really good things that you're working on right now. Allow it to come up and feel the willpower and the desire to be pulled in a new direction that you're passionate about. Okay, I'm going to draw one more manifesting card for the collective, and then we'll leave it at that, and we'll wait until I'm actually set up and settled in. I've been on the road for a bit of time here today. It says, when I'm spiritually aligned, I can trust the universe will unfold for me. And that really is the nature and essence of what we're talking about here. So taking that time to rest and make sure that we are spiritually aligned, and allowing the universe to unfold for us as we become ready. And as we're grounded, once we're grounded in our sense of knowing what is for us and how we want to move forward. All right, thanks guys. We have a Leo new moon coming up on the 24th. So I will be posting the astrology updates, and I will likely do another twin flame reading then as well. Thanks so much for being with me. I'm really glad to connect again. All right, we'll see you soon.